Okay, so I will start with XRP. Yeah. So now the question is, are we on a breakout or not? If you look at the triangle here, it certainly looks like it's a breakout. As you can see, we've broken the resistance line here. We back tested and we're moving on up. So at one level, it certainly looks like it is the range that this consolidation has been moving in is the 38.64 to the 28.65. So you can see that range, yeah. So we're still within this range for now, but for sure this looks like a breakout. Now, is it a fake out? That's another question. I think we'll find out pretty soon. What's the argument for the potential turn down here is that it's moving in a descending wedge. And when you look at the wedge, put on the 1 hour for now. When you look at the wedge, it comes in here a little touch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and potentially a 6 here. Yeah. So that's 3 touches to the top and then 3 touches to the bottom. Yeah. So the way this will spill, if it's going to spill, this is actually showing it here. Yeah. It didn't spill, but this is the way it will happen: is that it breaks out and it back tests and then it comes again. So maybe it goes up a little bit more. Maybe it tops out here, comes down, back tests, and then down it comes. Yeah. Equally, you can see it came out here. It back tested the triangle, turned it into support. Triangle support line, resistance line, which is now support line. You can see that it's turned it. So that's the argument for the pump up. Yeah. But equally, it's doing it at the top of an impulse. Yeah. So we got to see whether this is going to correct or continue on up. If it corrects, I'll be looking at a 786 correction or so, because XRP loves at 786 down to 31.40, and again possibly coming down to 31.60 or so to bounce off this support line here, yeah, and basically come back into the triangle and continue on a little bit more, yeah. So that's for the downside. For the upside, if this breakout continues, is very simply I took the length here from here to here, and I take it over and I put it here, yeah. So again, the target here will be 45.37 or so. Excuse me. So for invalidation of the pump up is the correction here. Is the invalidation for the correction is I'll go to this chart, yeah. So let's say here's the lift up. Actually, I'll go to this. My apologies. How far up could this go? If this isn't the top, how far up it could go? Here is the daily, yeah, and you can see it broke through the 20 EMA and it came back and got support, yeah. So a really strong argument for the pump, yeah. However, here's the 55 on the EMA on the daily as well, and it hasn't hit that yet. So there's a potential for it to hit this as its target and then go into its correction. And again, it will still be holding the top of the range at 38.65, yeah. So that's possible. There is a potential for still the breakout that it hit this, wick through it even, it does a correction, and it does an 05 correction back to the 20 EMA. So you could get a correction back to here and then a continuation on up. So that's a possibility. Or you get a deeper correction all the way back down to 31 or so, yeah. So that's what I'm looking at here, yeah. Is an argument for it topping out soon is here's all my arcs. Here's my 15-minute arc story, all the 15-minute arc stories all the way down, yeah, in this bear market, yeah. So you can see there is a solid resistance line support line, and then this is a media line, a center line, yeah? And again, this is a channel itself that you can see price action moving into and out of all the time, yeah? So now look at this line here. When you zoom into it, you can see that it's come down back into it again, back tested, failed, come down, bounce along, touch it here, and then, well, touch this line here, and then all the way over to here. So you can see that we've just wicked to this line. So you can see the arc here, and again I think it's a good argument for it to wick to this, even to the 55 here. It gets rejected back to the 05 and back up to test it again, or back to the 786, and again find its way up for another test, or get rejected and then down we come. So there is still this, when you look in this channel, you can have, there's a center line here, there's a resistance, support, resistance, support, is it could come down onto this again and find support, yeah? Potentially, there's two levels down this could go. Down to the mid-20s first, and potentially down onto the late teens, yeah? If it wanted to go that far. So that's the down. That would be the breakout of this. The target will be 24.90, 24.50 or so. Break up, again, we're looking at 45 and 50 or so as well, yeah? So it's still, to me, it still has to decide what it wants to do. So this could look like a beautiful breakout or a perfect fake out. It still has to be decided. So I think what it invalidates is, I had this head and shoulders, is I think it invalidates the head and shoulders. Because again, we're breaking up through here, yeah? Does it invalidate the drop down below this? No, not yet. Not until it clearly breaks the 38.67. Is this can still turn around and head down, yeah. But the head and shoulders pattern is, I would say, is invalidated. So that's that one there. Potential pathways. Again, we're let's say we're topping out here, or we're close to it. Is, I know there's a lot of lines on this page. I'll just focus on this space here, yeah. Is we have a pathway where we come down and bounce off this line again, the 05, and then just head on up. And that's that's the breakout pathway, yeah. It could come down all the way down to here, and again come down and do its full correction and still do a break up. It's just it comes back more into the triangle and plays out more, yeah. So there's that one there. Or the breakdown is, again, we come all the way back down to the 786, is bounce back up again for another 786, 786, then a small one, and then down we come. Maybe there's less here, maybe there's not, yeah. But that would be it playing out its waves, yeah. So we got to see what's going to happen, yeah. And then on the MAs is, I normally go through lots of hours and days and weeks. There's the 2 week has changed, the 1 week has changed. There's a lot of changes on it, but I'd only be giving you the same information, just playing it out through the MA. So I'll stick to the daily, yeah. Is at the moment on the daily in this consolidation, you can see it Bollinger down to the bottom Bollinger here, top of the Bollinger, bottom of the Bollinger, top, bottom, top. We're at the top of the moment, yeah. And on the daily, you can see the VWAP is leading the push. The 5 is behind. Again, it came up and it tested the 50, got rejected, broke above the 50, back tested, came below it yesterday, and back up again today, yeah. So we got to see where this goes, yeah. Is possibly the pathway hitting the 55, getting a rejection back to the 20 EMA, the 05 and the fib, and then up it goes, and that would be the pump. It could just go straight up as well, but I don't think so. because this is going for quite a while. So I think it needs a bit of a breather if it's going to do that, and then up it goes. Yeah. Or when it tops out, it comes back to the bottom of the Bollinger again, which again, there's 3060 in around the 31 mark. Yeah. And then the breakout will still be decided in this pattern. Yeah. So that's it. That's what we got to see. So yeah. So let's observe what the ascending wedge, how it wants to behave in this. And I'm looking at very closely if it reaches the 55 EMA at 37.46. I'm watching very closely how it behaves here. And that's it for now. I'm in a short. I'm in a short, and the reason why I'm in a short is wait. Where am I looking at? Yes, here. This is a 786 touch here, and I went in on a short, and then it came down, and then it reversed up, and I decided to DCA in. So now I'm pulling my entry point up, and I am expecting it to come back down. Yeah. So that's it. If it breaks this, then I'll be coming out of my short, and I'll have to take my loss. Yeah. Equally, if it comes back down, well then I'll take my profit. So that's what I'm watching. Yeah. So that's XRP for now. I'll hand you over to Mihaela, and she'll do Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let me just pull up Mihaela's charts. Yeah. That's yours there.
Is this updated? Oh, that's the DXY. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
There you go.
Good morning, guys. Now let's see. Let's start with the MAs on. Do you know what? Let's not start with the MAs. Let's start with the 1 hour structures that we're in. I'm gonna start with Ethereum because Ethereum is a little bit ahead of Bitcoin, both Bitcoin and XRP. There we go. Okay, so I was looking at this 1 hour arc yesterday, and to me it looked like a breakout from the 1 hour arc. We had the double top, we had the mountain peak, we had the final peak, we had the final bounce, final retrace, and then off we went. And the breakout from the 1 hour arc would be the mountain peak of the 4 hour, which would be around the 1500 level, and it looks like we're gonna get there. Now, if you haven't longed this at the 1260 mark here when it broke the wedge that it was in, I would suggest you wait and see what happens when it gets there. So now the long is in. There's still like 50-60 points maybe to get there. But the RSIs are already in the overbought. Now they can stay there. True, this can be an even greater breakout up to the 1700, which is a target that's worth keeping in mind. But I would suggest waiting until you see a retrace on the 1 hour, and seeing how that retrace on the 1 hour holds the 55 EMA and the 20 EMA, until which I think will be points of correction. Now, I believe that this is getting quite tired. I'm not sure it's going to get to the 15. It might. I don't have a crystal ball to tell you it will get to the 1550 or not. But to me, this is a high enough as-is mountain peak for the 4 hour. And now I'm happy with where it is. Yesterday, I wasn't so happy with it being here or even low here. It, like, energetically, this felt a little bit off. But now I'm happy with it because that's the level of support and resistance, and that is the technical target of this wedge. If I put it up to here, there it is, we are right at it. Conservatively speaking, because I didn't take the biggest part. If I were to take the biggest part, I think that will take us slightly higher. But if you are in a long, I would suggest taking profits quite soon, and then check to see how the correction holds. And the correction should hold. I'm going to switch now to the MAs. There we go. I'm going to switch now to the MAs on the 4-hour. The correction should hold the 20 on the 4-hour. I'm not. Again, if it doesn't hold the 20 on the 4-hour, then you know deeper levels of correction are to be expected. But we'll see what happens when we get there. Technically, we are above the 20 on the day. We've held it for, so the 20 on the day was held. That's why I'm saying Ethereum is steps ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days above the 20 on the day. We're even above the 50 on the day. We've back tested it, and the 5 is coming up. So it is looking. This is a long-term channel that we're going to look at tonight in the review, and its target is 1650, and this would be a long-term support and resistance at 1750. So it looks like it could get there. But I am in two minds because the RSIs look severely in the oversold, especially on the 1-hour. Like the 1-hour hasn't, this is where it's been. It's already in a bullish divergence. It hasn't yet reset to the bottom. It generally does that. Now, it could be, this is the ascending wedge. It could be a slight correction down to here, which would keep everything still on track for the 1700. Yeah, so today I would be looking for a slight correction entry, and then if that correction entry looks like it's holding, doing a leg up to the 1500 or 1700, that would be a very sweet trade. But first, I believe we're in for a correction. Let me see. I had another. Another point that I want to say. It'll come to me. I had too many ideas at that point.
Too many vodkas.
Too many ideas. Look at you. Okay, now let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is again holding. I wanted to say that technically Ethereum, of course, if that needs to be said, Ethereum has broken out of the consolidation it's been in. So Ethereum has broken. So Ethereum has broken out, and it's close to meeting its target. And this is actually for us, like again, it could be a great bull trap. But listen, it's met. The target is 1530. It could go there. It's played it out. Now, yes, I remember the idea. To me, it looks like it's done its 3 levels up, and now we would be looking at a peak formation today and a correction. Now, I don't know how that correction will play out, how deep it will be. It might be down to 1350. It might be down to 1250. If it breaks the 1250 again, we're back in this, but I don't think it will. I have a very empirical theory about these channels. We can see a spill here. And I'm taking the length of this spill and I'm putting it up to here, and we can see in and about the same range. So it would be the technical target. But I am thinking that sometimes channels like to extend. They do a spill both ways, and then they do a little bit more consolidation in the same space. So I am watching it today, and I'll post these updates In my trades now, to switch over to Bitcoin. In my trade, I'm still following a short in Bitcoin. I have DCA'd in, and my entry point is 22,000. It is holding. Now I am looking that it's holding this line, but it is holding it while being in the oversold and while being in bearish divergence on the 1 hour, the 15 minute, and I'm gonna check now if it is the 4 hour. The 4 hour is slightly an exaggerated bearish, but still a bearish divergence. So I am watching to see what's happening here. As you can see, I've been quite generous with this line. I could put this line over to here, and it's not technically a breakout. I could leave it here, and it will be holding it. Again, I am not, I would be taking a loss here and following it upwards, but I want to see the oscillators, by the oscillators I mean the RSIs, the stochastic RSI and the normal RSI reset to the bottom. At the moment, they are too exhausted, in my opinion, to make another leg up. So they've pushed up to the top line, and now they should make a correction. Now that correction should be at least, again, I'm very conservative because we are in an uptrend. The sentiment has changed. We are above the 20 on the daily. That correction could be the 382, which is about the 20,900, which is the midline of the wedge, or the 0.5, which is 20,500. So it could come down and make a slight correction and then come up and do the continue upwards. But I will be looking to close my short at this correction with some profit, or close it if we continue to push up. To me, at the moment, it's overextended. It needs to have a slight correction. Just like Ethereum, I'm looking at the 1 hour and I'm thinking that the waves are complete. So we had step 1, we had step 2, and then we had step 3, level 3. So today we might be in for the London session for the classical London sideways peak formation, holding the range. New York might bring the classical New York reversal, and then we might continue upwards. So unless we break the 20 on the day, just to take you back to the let me put this here. This would be the swing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, that would be it. 1, 2, 3, 4. This to me looks like a swing that has completed itself. Again, the small correction is necessary here. So unless we break the 20 on the daily. The 20 on the daily, that's it. We can do our correction. That's why I'm going to take my profit at the 0.5. The 20 on the daily is 20,500, which is below the 0.5. So we can still do our correction and still keep the same upwards momentum. So again, I'll check to see what happens there, because that is essential. It needs to hold. Bitcoin hasn't yet reached the 50 as Ethereum has, yeah, it's still, as you can see here, Bitcoin still looks like in a sideways daily Bollinger channel. So it looks like it still has another swing down to go, which would be maybe a correction to a double bottom at 18,000. But again, I'm not going to talk about that level unless we see the 20 on the day being broken. Once the 20 on the day being broken, we can talk about reaching the bottom of the Bollinger for a double bottom. Until then, the momentum stays up. There should be a correction. You can't always go in a straight line upwards. And we'll see where that correction takes us. That's it for me. I will see you tonight for the trade setup. In the trade setup tonight, we will have two important data packs. So we'll have the London session with what movement happened then, and then we'll have the New York session, which will be done, and we'll know if we've had our correction. And having our correction is essential, because then we can look at the next steps to take. And we'll see where that connection went, if it broke any major support, or on the contrary, if it held it. But today is a day when we're looking to see if this swing up is sustainable without its correction. I'll see you tonight. Have a brilliant day, and be careful trading. Again, wait for your RSI's reset on the 15 to follow the trend upwards, if you want that. I will see you tonight. Have a great day.
Thanks, Michaela. Thanks, guys.